Okay, I think here the press average is clear for you. Thanks to low transport height, the HSM V-press can be easily transported. Easily transported when we have the correct pallet tracks. Yeah, then we can transport it easily wherever it needs to be used. Yeah, low installation height is very important. So we have the maximum installation height is 3 meters. And the transport height is 2 meters. Yeah? So we can move the machine through every door, for example, and can extend the cylinder inside when we have a height of 3 meters. By the V-press 860, for example, is the highest, and 1160 is the highest machine. Yeah? High process reliability due to the HSM TCS. TCS means torsion control system. So we make sure that the press don't come in stress and don't damage the cylinder, for example. Yeah. Convenient membrane keyboard. Yeah, you see the keyboard is easy to use. You see displayed all the informations, and so it's easy to use. Long service life due to the low maintenance, reliable hydraulics and hard chrome plated piston rods. So the cylinder are very good quality. The piston rods are high quality, very hard. And so normally you should not have damaging on this side. Yeah? Solid weld steel construction. Yeah? You saw that we weld them by hand first, and then we finish the welding lines with our welding rock. Yeah? So we can be sure that the welding lines are very solid. Yeah? And movable with a hand pallet truck. Okay, normally when we have the German pallet trucks. Or the European German pallet trucks. Okay, this was a slide from yesterday, yeah. And also this one also. You see here the whole range of V-presses. Also with the new version with 503, but we don't launch this machine. We are developing this machine in the actual time. Yeah. And here also the versions, you know it. And this is a little bit more detailed, V-press 60. You see it's a very simple press, only for compressed foil by muscle power. Yeah? No hydraulic system, no pressure switches, no pressure relief valve, nothing, no plug. Yeah? Only do by hand. And I think you can sell this machine, and here nothing in the future from this machine here, because what can broke on a machine? Only some rollers, for example, but normally the customer fixes them by itself. Yeah, so we have no maintenance on this machine. Yeah, you see here the machine is movable. Yeah, so we can go with this press on each position or each place in your factory where the film is coming on. Yeah. Then the small one. You see also here some detailed information, pressing force, 30 or 40 kilonewton, for example. Yeah. The next one, I will flip over a little bit faster. You see here, we have by the 820 or 880, 20, 25, the double door system by the eco version. Yeah. Double door means you have to turn off the door as this kind of normal door. The disadvantages when you have the open door, you have a lot of material in the floor, for example, yeah, and you then can let them open, yeah. It means when it is in the corner, and so you should think about that you place this machine every time in the corner, so you can let the door open, for example, yeah. And here the Plus version have a loading flap, yeah. And we have the loading flap only by this machine. By the 840 up to 8 or 1160, we have the sliding door system. And here we have only loading flaps. Yeah, you see all the difference. Here you see also the press volume in the press chamber. You see the dimensions: deep 780, yeah, wide 1200, and the height of the press chamber is 540, for example. And so you can think about that you have a press volume from approx 0.5 cubic meter, and approx the bulk weight from normal cardboard is between 5 and 15 kilogram each cubic meter. so we can calculate how many strokes we need for one bale ready. Yeah? For example, when we have a bale weight of 200 kilograms, yeah, and we have only 5 kilograms each stroke, then you can calculate how often we have to press the material. Yeah? So when your customer asks how many strokes I need for one bale, so you have here some figures for make the calculation with him on site. Yeah? The 820 is a special machine. You know, this machine is a plug-and-play machine. Yeah? You see the special positions of the cylinder. So we can deliver this machine with connected cylinder. Yeah? We have a transport height of less than 2 meters. So we can move the machine on site. We can plug the plug in a socket, and then the machine is ready to operate. First, you have to fill in the oil. Yeah, this is the own what you have to do here. Yeah, but normally we deliver in Europe the machine complete with a full tank, and here when we ship them overseas, we have to bring the oil in a separate bottle. Yeah, and then this machine is ready to start. Yeah, also here the press chamber dimensions, for example, the bale weight, and so here you have a lot of detailed information every time. All the press volume here a little bit bigger. Each stroke approx 60 strokes for bale ready, for example here, by a bulk weight of 10 kilograms. Yeah. This is the 840, the 340 kilogram. And in Germany you need a bale weight more than 430 kilogram for sell them directly to paper mills. Yeah? Paper mills don't accept bales with a bale weight less 430 kilogram. So this bale you have normally have to repress them by a composite company. Yeah? Now we came to the 860. You see the different versions, the reinforced version. Yeah? And here the press chamber. The 860 are the yellow one, 780 millimeter deep. And by 1160 you see the same dimensions in the width and the height, but the deep is 1100. So it's advantage when you have big, huge cupboard. Then you can bring in them. You saw in the video, you have a huge cupboard and you could bring it completely inside. It wasn't possible to bring such big cupboards in the 860, for example. So it's depend on the material on site, which you can recommend, 860 or 1160. Yeah.
Plus that's going to bring up your bale weight.
Yeah.
And more space.
Yeah, the bale is bigger, of course. Also, the bale is more heavy, but the pressing force is the same. Yeah. So the bale weight each cubic meter is by the 1160 smaller. Yeah. Okay. There's also the special machines. You see here the reinforced parts. Yeah. On the door and also on the side walls. Yeah. And also the back wall is also reinforced. You know why? This is the special machine, the L version. You see this space here are copied in the bale. You see here, and then we are able to transport this bale without wooden pallet. Yeah? And when we need a version for America, we have to make other dimensions for the space area. Yeah? But I think your fingers of the truck pallets are very, 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 very wide. Yeah? So it makes possibly no sense, because when we have such wide fingers here, it's a problem because the form is fixed with a wire. Yeah? So we have only a small form. Yeah? We can fix them with a wire. When we have such a wide form, for example, for the wide fingers in your situation here, and we have only one wire in the middle, then the material grow on outside, and then it could be possible it's not easy to fix the truck pallet. Yeah? So I think it's not so easy for make such a version for the American market. Yeah. You see here, this is the door, yeah, the construction drawing. You see the dimensions of the spacer. Yeah, and you see also our normal European trucks. Yeah. Yeah, and these are the different of the pallets. You see the Euro pallet and our hand truck lifter are measured on this pallet. Yeah, and your pallet is bigger. Yeah. Then 1160. You see here the dimension, and here the weight of the bale. Maximum bale weight is 550 kilogram. Yeah? And this is the biggest bale size which we can produce. The bale size is bigger as a bale coming from a VK press. VK we have only 110 by 110, and the length is 120. And here we have 120, 120, and 110. So the bale is a little bit bigger as the bale from the VK press. So here you see bigger bale. The weight is 550 kilogram, but a bale, a little bit smaller bale from the VK 150 gets a weight of 1 ton 200 kilogram. Wow. So you see more than double weight. Yeah? So you can imagine with what a kind of pressure we press in the big baler. Yeah?
Wow.
Yeah? Okay, the whole range of product, the table, you see some 1 millimeter are inches and so on, 1 kilogram are pounds, for example, when it's necessary for you. Yeah, and also here the FP barrel press. Yeah, saw it yesterday. How insert the wire. Yeah, only a few. How insert the tape. Yeah. And here the tape break. Yeah, I think it's necessary for you to do some rework when you want to see some details. Yeah, it's important. Here the different kind of tape which we order or which we offered. Yeah, and so you know that we have different tension strengths here up to 950 kilogram. Yeah, special part, and normally we have by the 1160 this one, and you see here also by 860. And here by 840, so we can reduce the tension, and so we have cheaper material, yeah, strapping material. Some customers use also the clamps for tighten the tape. Depend on the customer. Yeah, you can also make a knock or 2 knocks normally, or you can buy such clamp and to have to fix in the tape, and then you can strap them a little bit more. Yeah. And these are the wires. You see we have different kind of wires with 1 loop, yeah? And we have also wires with 2 loops, for example, by the HL machines, where we have a fixed bale length, then we have a quick link wire with 2 holes, and then we can fix them, and this is fixed forever. Yeah? And here our HSM power disc, we found them also on your machine. You have some on the machine. It's easy to take the wire, and you have a very good grip for pull the wire under the bale. Yeah? Otherwise you have to pull with your hands and wear gloves, for example. No? And here with this disc, it's very easy. You put it in one hand and you have a lot of grip, and you can pull the wire very easy. Yeah? And so you should see when your customer have the machine and you don't see the disc, you can sell discs on every visit where you're on site. Yeah, makes turnover. Okay, then how you inject the bale. Yeah, you saw it in the video. These are some pictures from the video. Yeah, these are the retaining cloths. Yeah, you see these parts are fixed in the bottom of the side, and these parts are movable because in this part the press arm is moved. Yeah, and the press arm don't come more down than here. And these parts are be moved from press arm outside, and when the press arm goes up, then the gloves come out when the material want to grow in the press chamber. Yeah. Okay. Our hand wheel locking system, and here there's a system for automatically open the sliding door. You saw the magnet who move this part here. You can also move it by hand, and this magnet only move this part, and then the door go open and slide down. Yeah? This is our hydraulic door lock system. You see the cylinder, and I told you yesterday it's necessary to take this option when you have expensive material. Yeah? So it's easy for open the door, and then you have more space for open the door, and then you have very expensive material and want to open them with a hand wheel. You have to drill very hard, and then you have only such a part for open the door, and then you have press against this material because you want to move the clamp. Yeah? And so this kind of material, or this kind of door locking system is easier when you have expensive material. And also by our special press 860P, 860S and 860L, we only deliver this machine with this hydraulic door lock system. Yeah? Okay, this is the injection belt. We will see outside in the machine the belt is mounted a little bit different. This picture is wrong. And on the machine, it's the correct one. We will see it. It's how it works, correct one. Yeah. Yeah. I will show it you a little bit later, direct on the machine. Yeah. For example, it's also necessary to control the tension of this belt. Yeah. And you can adjust the length of the belt when you move the pin and the bolt one step backwards, for example. Yeah. Torsion control system. I think it's clear for you how it works. Yeah? It projected against the mirror on the top of the machine. So we have to control if the point in the middle of the mirror, then you can be sure that it works. When you are on the side of the mirror, then a little bit movement and you have directly a fault message. So make sure that you adjust them so that you have the point exactly in the middle. Yeah. This is the old torsion control system. It works in the same principle. Yeah. When the tube is moving, then you get a contact to the magnet switch, and it's the same message to the control panel. Yeah. That was only overview over the wheel presses. Okay. Next, I will show you now a little bit different systems. We will start by V-press 504 up to 510. These are the smaller presses. We have the option to choose cupboard or foil also, but we haven't a pressure switch, but we have to make different bale ready signals. Yeah? And I will show you how it works. We will start here. You see also some slides which I will jump over. Yeah, they're not so necessary. Yeah, same. Yeah, so we operate the machine, so we can remove the bale. This is a kind of removal trolley. Yeah, and we have also the option that we have a ejector system now by the V-press 405. No? This is the new version or the option. It's not new version, it's only option. You can remove them with the trolley or you can choose the injector. Yeah, both are possible. The same control panel, yeah, the same menu structure, torsion control system, error message. You know, when did we do it yesterday? Yeah, when for example the torsion control is dirty, for example, then you get a message, go in the cleaning position. We did it yesterday. But when we start with the control and we leave the signal during the stroke, then we get the information, this is the old information messing lift the press rem, or we get here the information uneagle loaded. Yeah? And when the customer get the information uneagle loaded, eagle or loaded? Unlegal?
Uneven.
Uneven. Okay, oh, sorry. Uneven loaded. Then you should know that the bale surface is not in a good condition. Yeah, and so we have removed some material by the next loading, more material on this side, less material on this side for making uneven or uneven loading. Yeah, and then by next stroke, when you don't get this fault message, everything is okay. But when you get the fault message once again, uneven loaded, then the press rem lift up once again. Yeah, then you have the last change to make the surface even. Yeah, and then you press then third time and you get 3 times the same message then you get the message bale ready. We discussed it yesterday? Or yes? Okay. And then you have to remove the bale, and the head of the department say, okay, my bale weight is every time too less. What's wrong with the press? Nothing. With the press, it's only a problem by the operator. Okay? Hydraulic plan is clear for you? Yeah? So now we have the situation. You see the flag here. In this case, this is the flag only assembled on the press ram. By other machines, you see the flag on the guiding tubes, for example. And in this case, we have the flag here directly on the ram. Yeah? And we have two switches. And I showed yesterday, in this case, the switches are outside in the wall. Yeah? But we have the same principle. Okay? And now, normal press stroke means we have the press in the start position. In the start position, we have an activated switch. Yeah? So we can see on this switch, it's green and yellow. Yeah? Normally. Then we press start, and then we leave the switch, and we have only green. Then, yeah? And when we have only green, the monitoring time start. Yeah? So when we have an inactive switch, the monitoring time count down. Yeah? Then we start and come to this switch. Yeah? We activated the switch, and then we leave the switch, and we haven't appears the time. Then we go down in the start position once again. And this is the normal stroke. Leave them, activated them, and when we leave this switch, we go directly down. And you see, when we leave the switch, we are not in the extended position. Yeah? So in this case, we turn backwards with a high pressure. Yeah? A high pressure we only create when we have the extended position. Yeah? You know, when I was with two-hand operation on the extended position, yeah? Then we increase the pressure. But in this case, we leave the, or we turn backwards directly when we lose the signal. It's clear, yeah? And now we press 15, 14 times. We press only downwards, upwards, downwards, upwards. Yeah? And then the material under the press, yeah, grow. Yeah? And so also the counter pressure from the material grow. Yeah? And then you need more power for compressed material and more time because it goes longer. Yeah? And then we have this situation when we pre-select foil. Yeah? So we can select foil or cardboard. And then we have pre-select foil, and you see we started also from the start position. When we leave the signal, the count or the monitoring time start. Then when we reach the next or the second switch, yeah, and then the monitoring time is over before we leave them. Then we started a pre-pressing time, 1 second, and we are not able to leave this switch internal this time. So it means we have a lot of material under the press and it's not possible to come deeper internal the time. Then we create the bale ready signal for foil. Easy. Yeah? Only the time in the background. So don't change the time setting. Yeah? We need them for this one. Okay? And now, when we pre-select cardboard, we have this different logic. Yeah? So, it's the same situation. We leave the first switch. The monitoring time starts. And then, when we reach the next switch, we start up for next stroke. But when the contact pressure of the material is so heavy that we don't be able to reach the switch internal the monitoring time by cardboard. And we have to press, yeah? And we don't be able to reach the switch by cardboard, then we make bale ready. Okay? So it means here we have a bigger bale, yeah? And we press them with more pressing force, yeah? As by foil. So we reduce the stress for the bale, of the bale by foil, and here we give them the most pressure, yeah? And say, okay, when we reach the switch once again, then we make a next stroke, and we make strokes so long as we couldn't reach the switch internal the monitoring time. So here, in this case, by this machine, you can simulate the bale ready by cupboard. For example, turn off the cable from the switch, yeah, and press downwards, and the press, and the press don't get a signal because you have to disconnect the cable, and then you will find that the press bring bale ready. So you can test and can simulate it by your customer. Only by the small machines. Yeah? So it's very easy. Yeah? We need no signal from a pressure switch. We have only a monitoring time and only 2 signals from 2 different switches. Yeah?
Makes sense.
And it means, okay, in this position, when we leave the switch, we go back for the next stroke. Yeah? When we can leave the switch, then we have bale ready by foil. And we don't reach the switch, we have bale ready by cupboard. It means the foil bale is a little bit deeper and the cupboard bale is a little bit higher. That's just the difference by the smaller versions. Okay? Clear, huh? So what you have to control the flap on the press ram that is not banded, for example, and you have to contract the signal of the both switches. It's very easy in this case. Open the door and give a magnet or a middle contact to the switches, and you see that the green and the yellow button is lighting. Yeah? But you should know when something happens when I manipulate the switches. One of our technicians did it by an old press, by a VL44. He goes in with the arm, connected the switch for test the function, and the press ram come upwards and cut him off the arm. Yeah? By these machines, normally could happen something, yeah? Because you have opened the door. Yeah? Don't put the magnet on the switch, because when you have a magnet, this was the fault by him, you have a magnet on the switch. Yeah? So the machine was in a normal operating mode, and then he manipulated the switches for control the function, and then the press ram come up and hurt him. Yeah? So please think about what can happen when you do some manipulations, yeah? And be careful. But in this case, for example, by this machine, when you only want to control them, yeah, nothing can happen. Yeah? You have an open door and nothing can happen. You only see the green and red button. Okay, you can say the switch is okay, and you see here it's also okay. But you also see it when you move the press ram by a closed door. You see in the start position, green and red on the first button. You press downwards, and you see the next switch will also light for a few seconds, green and red, and so you see also that the switches are in operation. Yeah? And then you have other faults. It can be that your cable, I told you cable, or the cable connecting is fault. Yeah? Okay, and so when you have the door closed, you can also see that the flag is in a good position. Yeah? Okay, this was the smaller one. Now we get to the bigger one. The bigger one started by 818. It goes up to 1160. The difference is here we have a pressure switch. Yeah? And the pressure switch is important for create the bale ready by these machines. Up, was 2. Okay. Same situation, same panel, yeah. Also the same logic in the panel, the same options. Choose the programs, for example. That's what the operator can do every day. Yeah, can change every day. Today I want to press cupboard. Tomorrow I want to press film. Yeah, and it should be you should know why you have to change the programs. Yeah, because when you want to compress film in a cupboard program, he stressed the machine too much. And also he have a bale, very high compacted, foil bale, very high compacted, strapped with wire. You bring them out in the sun, they heat them up, and then it's possible that you get an implosion. Yeah? So the next one, choose automatic and manual start. You know it. This is the main menu structure. Yeah. Here's the control time. You know why we need control times and why we need the pre-press time. Yeah. And now the torsion control system is the same. The hydraulic system is near the same. We have also additional here one pressure switch. You know how a pressure switch works now. And here you find the different places for the flags. Yeah? You see one flag in the middle of the press ram, for example. It's the flag for the bale start position or for the start position. Yeah? And the second flag is necessary for the bale ready signal. Yeah? Sometimes you find the switches in the side wall, for example here by 818, 825, and sometimes you will find the switches on the top of the machine. Yeah? Depend on the construction. Yeah? But the function of these switches are every time the same. Here you see, for example, 840, 1160, that the flag is on the guiding tube, yeah? And the both switches are on the top of the machine here. This is the switch for bale in start position, and the next one is the switch for bale ready signal. Yeah? Only two switches. Yeah? And you see it only when you go upstairs. Yeah? Okay, this is the function of the switch. Yeah? The switch gives also a signal 1 or signal 0. When you haven't contact or when you haven't metal in front of the switch, then you get in the 24 voltage. Same situation if you have by the pressure switch. Yeah? And when you have a contact, for example, when the flag is directly in front of them with a distance of maximum approx 5 millimeters, yeah? The bigger can have more distance, the smaller need a smaller distance. And then you have a signal 1, because you have incoming 24 volt and outcoming also 24 volts. And it's only one signal, on or off. Also as a light switch on and off, not more. Yeah? Okay, now we will look what happens when we start the press stroke by this machine. Okay? We will start from the home position here. It is this flag. Yeah? You can remember this flag is on the press plate, and this flag, for example, is sometimes on the guiding tube or sometimes. Yeah? So we leave this position here, so we have start position, and then the monitoring time is also counting there. Yeah? Then we go downwards, and we reach a turning position when we have contact and when we leave this switch with both parts of the switch. So we reach the zone 1, we have a contact, we left the contact, we have a new contact by zone 2, and when we leave the zone 2, then we go up in the start position. Only when we haven't the signal from this pressure switch. Yeah? So we haven't no counter pressure because our system pressure is lower than as 160 bar. When we have more than 160 bar, we would get a signal here, 1, and then we can create bale ready. But in this case, the first strokes, we press and press and press. We leave the switch, we don't get a signal here, and everything is okay.
And that's on cardboard bales?
This by both.
On both of them?
On both. This is a situation for both. Yeah? That means when I can leave the switch, the zone 2, yeah, internal monitoring time, and I don't get a signal, then it's the same situation by cardboard or by foil.
Okay. But I mean
the difference come now.
Okay.
The difference come now. Now, when I pre-select foil and I start, and then I press on the material, and then I have contact with the zone 1, and during this situation I get a signal from the pressure switch that I reach 160 bar, then I direct create bail ready without monitoring time. Yeah? So I have no pre-press time. I want to press foil only with 160, 170, not much than 180 bar. Yeah? And so when I have contact here and when the signal 160 bar appears, yeah, then the press makes directly bail ready signal. So it's stop direct. Yeah? So you know I'm here and 160 bar, yeah, or 160 bar come a little bit earlier and it needs a few seconds to reach this switch, then I have directly bail ready. So we compact foil with less press. Not while we can choose different pressures in the system. We have only one pressure relief valve, yeah, where we have, in this case, by 880, for example, 280 bars, and we only can choose one system pressure. But here we can make the signal earlier, yeah, when we reach them and we have 160 bar. And then we have bail ready, fix. Strap the bail, inject them, okay? Now the difference is by cupboard. By cupboard, we want to compress the material with the high pressure, with 280 bars, with the most possible pressure. Yeah? Here, no. But by cupboard, we want to press them with 280 bars, means 530 kilonewton. And how we can do that? Here, we leave the switch from starting position. Then we have our monitoring time. Then we reach the zone 1, for example. During we reach the zone 1, the signal 160 bar appears, for example. And then we came in zone 2, in zone 0, not 2, zone 0. And then we start, when we leave the zone 1, we started the pre-press time. For example, in this case, I'm not sure, I think 4 seconds. And now we are in this area, and we press 4 seconds by increasing the pressure, and we try to reach the zone 2. When we reach the zone 2, then we go up for the next stroke. Yeah? But when it's not possible to leave the zone 0 internal, the pressing and the pre-press time. So it means we have the maximum pressure, but the press is not able to go deeper. We press 4 seconds with a high pressure, but we don't be able to reach the zone, and then we create bail ready by cupboard. So the difference is by foil, only with maximum 170 bars, a little bit more, yeah. And here we try to reach the zone by increasing the most important or most possible pressure. Yeah, this is the difference. It's clear?
Yep.
I think so, no? So for this one, we need the pressure switch. Okay. And it means, in this case, the foil bail or the film bail, I have to change them in every presentation, only film, not foil. The film bail is smaller and the covered bail is bigger, because here we create a bail ready when we leave the part, yeah? And here we create the bail ready when we can come deeper. Okay? This for the different. Okay, any questions? No.
So for the film, it goes, as soon as you get to out of zone 1, it gets bail ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the cardboard, when it gets to zone 2,
Yep.
that's when it's bail ready.
Yeah. Okay, this is the most different by the different versions. Okay. So now I will show you some details. For example, what do you need when you go out for replace some parts, for example. I have here some special tools. For example, yesterday we talked about how it's possible to disconnect the cylinder by a KP88 from a press plate. Yeah? And here you need special tools, for example, special punchers. Yeah? You see here by the old version, the VL500 or the VL500 is it? Yeah. When we want to disconnect the press ram from the press cylinder, we have to fix them with a chain crane and with it's called what's called this loops, or you can call the ring sling. Yeah. Okay. Slings. Yeah. So we can fix them with two cranes here, and then we can hit out the double pin, yeah? Right. And for this one, we need, yeah, you see it, a big hammer. It's not possible with a small hammer. Yeah, we need a big hammer, and we need a special puncher. Otherwise, you have no change to bring them out, yeah? You see here the double pin, this big one, yeah, and the puncher exactly fixed in this dimension, yeah? And though we have a lot of different punchers, you see here, when you know that you have such a machine in your market, then you should also have the special punchers. Yeah? For example, here, the KP40, for example, can be. That is a machine which is the combination machine for the FA400, for example. You saw yesterday the machine, as you open the door, that there's the press ram and the cylinder. And when you want to disconnect this one, so we need also this puncher. One puncher for hit out, and the next puncher for bring in the new one. Okay? Here, different punchers, KP80, also possible. You have also the machine KP80 in your market, yeah? Or the FP 3000, also two machines. So you need also this kind of punchers. And you see here the drawings, and here you see the HSM part number. Yeah? And then when you need it, you can order it, yeah? Here, for example, a puncher for the KP100, for the 12 Gigant, also machine which you can sell here in your market. These are the older one, 4L500. Here you see here a nut, yeah, for fix them. In the first picture you saw you need a big hammer, yeah, and so our guys weld such a nut on this, yeah, and then you can fix it with a rubber line, yeah, and then you have both hands free for the big hammer, yeah. This is a special part, not for hit out the puncher, for pull out. Yeah, slide hammer. Yeah. You know them? Okay, slide hammer. We need them, for example, by the VL600. Okay, you haven't this version, but I will show you. We need them also by the V-Press 820. Yeah, by the cross cylinder. Yeah, and now you need also this part here. I have to adapt the number here, VL600 and also V8020. Yeah, the same version. Here, for example, you see the double pin by a VK. Yeah, so you hit from the top to the down, for example. Yeah, and you can imagine it's not possible with normal tools. Yeah, you need a special puncher for this. Otherwise, you can't disconnect the part. No. Okay, so very helpful for you, yeah. Then I have here some pictures which kind of tools we recommended and our technician have in their car. So these are the normal tools, metric tools. You need metric tools here. Ring or open end wrenches, for example. Then the cracked
27 mil?
Sometimes, yeah.
Big wrench.
That's the question, which kind of machine. We have big machines that we need them, yeah. But I think in this sweep press range, we don't have 70. The most thickest one is, I think, the 24, yeah.
It's still a big wrench.
It's big enough, yeah.
I think there's a 30 in there too.
Yeah,
I think there's a 30.
okay. Okay. Then we need the hexagon wrench, yeah. There are two different systems now in the market. Normal imbus, we call them imbus, or torques, so different systems now. And the torques is the more modern screw head now, and you see that a lot of screws change in the torques head, yeah. And so you should have, and also by HLM you find in one machine, also by the paper shredder, you will find step by step also such torques screws.
I like to work. No, it's true.
You know torques?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And these are the old version. I think torques will take over this version, yeah? So we, yeah, this is normal, the old one, the cross, and only the line, yeah? And torques is the modern version because it's more comfortable to screw them, yeah?
Yeah, we've seen
Those
some.
are really nice too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they work for getting out strict Phillips head screws.
Good idea.
Okay, and then also let's say you find that kind of sockets, yeah? So yesterday we need a socket because sometimes it's very narrow and you can reach the contact nut, for example, for the pressure relief valve with an open end wrench, for example, and then you need some socket. So you should have both in your car, on your tool box, yeah? This is our gauge. It's gauge or gauge? Gauge, no? Gauge, yeah. You have a part number for HSM. I'm not sure how expensive it is. You called me yesterday how it costs. I'm not sure. But this is a part number and you can call it Augusta, how expensive it is for you. Okay. So we have a special part here. This is our testing device. Yeah, I think it's an easy device. Only we need them in this case only for measure the contact and only for measuring, for example, you can measure 200 or 110 volt, and you can also measure if you have the 24 volt in and out, for example. For this measuring, the tool is okay. Yeah. But when you have to make the electric tests, for example, the insulation tests or the earth conductor test, you need such a bigger tool where you can bring in 400 voltage. Yeah, with a small tool, you don't be able to bring in a test voltage of 500 volt. In this case, there are batteries inside, 4 or 6 batteries inside, and we can produce 400 voltage with a low ampere, of course, but a high voltage. Yeah? And this is what we need for make the measuring by the insulation tests. Yeah? I think this is not so common in your car. Yeah? You don't have such a tool because this tool is expensive. You have to invest more than, I think, 600 up to 800 euro for such a unit. Yeah. But without this unit, you can't make the insulation tests. Okay. And the next one, what you need is a torque wrench. Yeah. It's a metric nut. Yeah. Because when we want to fix the cylinder in a machine, we have to be sure that we tighten them with exactly torque. You see the list here, for example. Yesterday I show you on the head of the screw, you see 8.8, for example. This is this line here, 8.8, and then I think we have M18, and then you find the torque, yeah, 280 Newton, yeah. You need this torque also when you change your car tires, winter and summer months. So you have to be sure that your car tires are fixed. Yeah. The next one which we have is a special crane. We need such crane. I will give you some presentations a little bit later when we have to remove a cylinder, for example. It's not possible to remove the cylinder by your own muscles. You need a crane, or you need a normal forklifter. Yeah. Then when your customer have a forklifter on site, then it's easy for you. But when you haven't some, then you need such a crane. Our technician have, every one of our technicians have such a crane in his car or in his garage. Yeah. And we go on site, then we put the crane in her car or in his car, and then they go to the customer.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that crane device, that one's actually an HSM one, so does it bolt to the side of the machine?
Mm. Yeah, normally I think it's not necessary for you to have such a crane in your garage. I think it's important for HSM to have such a crane here in the warehouse. And when you have to replace the cylinder, you have to send the cylinder on a wooden pallet, for example, to the customer, and then put on the crane additionally. And then you get back the old cylinder and also the crane. Yeah? And so it's not necessary that each technician has such a crane.
But
yeah?
it just bolts to the side of the machine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Nifty.
Okay, here's a small crane. It's helpful, but not so necessary. It's helpful when you have to replace, for example, a complete hydraulic unit by the wheel press 610 or 65. We create this crane by ourselves because in the beginning we have a little bit problem with this units, and our technician was not afraid when they have to replace this hydraulic unit because it's very heavy. You have to hold them and fix the screws, yeah, and it was not so easy to do it by alone, yeah. And so you can fix the unit with a crane, and then you can unbolt them, yeah, and then it's easier. Yeah. This crane, I see you have such a one here in your warehouse. Yep. A bigger one is this one. You need such a crane when you want to replace, for example, a cutting unit in FA 500. It's not possible to lift them, yeah, and so you can remove the coverings, and then you can fix this unit with this part with the crane and the round string, and then you can disconnect, and then you can be sure that it's easy to lift up them. Yeah? So therefore, our technician haven't such crane, and we deliver also the crane with the cutting unit to our customer, and then our technician go on site and have the tool on site. No problem. Then we have two wedged hoist, or it's also chain crane. Can be the chain crane also possible, yeah. We saw on the picture before that we can fix with this crane and the round string the press plate before we disconnect them, for example. So each of our technicians have two of this in his cars. These are the round strings. You see the color stay for different weight, yeah. And so we normally have the green ones with a weight of 2 tons, yeah. I think it's enough in our case. Then we have a small welding unit in our cars, because I think it's not so important. By the most customers inside, we are not allowed to weld them because the risk of a fire is too high. And sometimes we only make some small weldings. For example, when you see the power, the pressure spring, yeah, outside, then we have the connecting points. Then sometimes we have to weld them. But on the press plate or on the frame and so on, we don't weld some things on site because the unit is also too small to make a real good welding line. And so when you have a broken welding line, normally we change the press, replace them in our factory, and the customer get a new one during the warranty case, for example, and then we rebuild the old one and make a refurb press on this. No? Then we have some hydraulic car checks. We'll see a little bit later where it is good for. Then very necessary to have some strapping tape, because this tape, you can fix everything with this tape. Yeah? The tape have a very high strength, so 950 kilogram, for example. With this tape, our guys also fix the parts which we send back on a wooden pallet, for example, and so we need this every time. Yeah. Okay. You have also a number, and you can order it also. Okay, that was the necessary tools I can recommend it you. Yeah? Do you have such tools in your car? I think not all the parts, no?
No, the first page.
Yeah, the hand tools.
Yeah, the hand tools only, but the bigger tools for replace, for example, some parts by a repress, I think you don't have it, no?
Yeah, there's no way we'd carry that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
I think the situation will come when you have the first situation, when you have to replace some parts, and you see that your small hammer is too small, then you would buy a bigger one, I think so. And also the,
Well, the machines will be new for a year or two,
yeah,
and in the case there's something bad happens, then we have to get something like that. But we should have a little grace period. So we
A
don't
little warm-up period.
yeah, warm-up period.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is normally warm-up period is good. You can sell the machine and everything is good for the next 10 years. And you can sell the machine and internal 1 week, 1 month, the customer have a problem. I don't know. You don't know what happens. Huh?
What's the warranty on them?
Warranty, 1 year warranty.
1 year full warranty?
But it's no different for you if it's a warranty or not.
Oh, no.
Broken part have to be replaced in warranty case or out of warranty case. It's the same situation, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What is the cost on
I don't know off the top of my head, honestly. I haven't messed with them at all.
it? You should know. But I'm sure it's all over the ballpark from Louisiana.
I don't know.
$1 million.
I
$1
have it
million.
all in my computer.
But we're talking about
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My concern is our truckers, how they transport these things.
You know, with the hand truck thing, a lot of the truckers that come to my shop use the real narrow hand truck. So it might be that, you know, if you have somebody that has that machine, that you could get the specific hand truck for them.
The only one was the 860 was the only one that had that needed the narrow.
Forks.
Hmm.
I don't know about the one in the back, because they put the 1160 in the back, they put that in with a forklift.
I'm not sure exactly. So we have to. I took a picture from your hand truck lifter, and I think I have also make a measurement how wide it is, yeah, and so you can give me the details, yeah, and so I can give the data to our development department, and they have to check whatever is possible, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if what we have is kind of standard throughout the states here.
No, it's standard.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Okay.
work on machines, I don't work.
Okay, okay. So finally, before we go out to the machine, 50 minutes, we have to leave this room here. I will show that I have give you a lot of different spare part lists. I will look on the 605, for example. So here you will see it's not a PowerPoint presentation, it's only a PDF. Yeah? And here you will find the machines, and here you will find the spare parts, for example. Yeah? The numbers in the kind of explosion drawing, yeah, you find the number, and in the list below you find the spare parts and also the spare part number. Yeah? And though when you want some parts or you need some parts, for example this switch here, 33, this one here in the side wall, normally you should find the part here, inductive proximity switch. Yeah? And so it should be easy for you. Hmm?
We do have them in stock.
You have them on stock.
All right.
Yeah, normally every technician should have this in his toolbox. Also, when you go to a customer for make some maintenance, for example, this part, and normally you should color or lighten the lines which is necessary to have on your car. Yeah, for example, such a switch is important. A pressure switch is also important. Main valve is also important. Yeah, and then some electrical parts, for example. Yeah, but these are the most important parts. Yeah, but mostly you have a lot of parts in your toolbox, but this part what you need isn't there. Yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, yeah. But such parts I would recommend. Also, you should have, for example, injection belt, belt. Yeah.
The strap.
Yeah, for inject the belt, yeah, the belt, yeah. Though sometimes you come to the machine and see it's hurt, it's damaged, for example, and then you should change them, for example, yeah. What you don't have to have in your car are hydraulic tubes or hydraulic hoses. It makes no sense to have hydraulic hoses in your car because you have every time the wrong part, yeah. Because we have such a huge of difference, and you don't have the right part in your car. And when you have them in your car, you should know they got older and older and older, and you can replace a hose when it's older than 2 years, because you have to replace them every 6 years. And when you bring a new one, it's older than 2 years, and it's written on the hose, on the part. Yeah, you can written the production date. Yeah, and that might make no sense to have such hoses in your car. I know also our technicians make some stupid things. They have a lot of hoses in their car because sometimes we deliver some hoses to our customer and they don't need it for replacement, for example, and then they take them in their car. Yeah, and 3 years later they say, "Oh, I have so much hoses in my car, I send them back to the main warehouse." And our colleagues in the warehouse look, okay, 3-year-old, what can they do? Throw it away in a waste, yeah? And so it makes no sense to drive them around the country. Yeah? Okay, and here you will see all these parts, yeah? All here, cylinder, for example, hydraulic unit. Sometimes we have only a complete hydraulic unit, yeah? Always when the machine is in warranty case, we have also warranty to our supplier, and so we replace the complete hydraulic unit, not only single parts. We replace the complete unit. Therefore, we need also the small crane, yeah. And then we have here one number. One number means here complete hydraulic unit, 1.5 kilowatt, for example, yeah. And this is what we do: replace internal the warranty case, yeah. And then send back it to the warehouse, and the guys can discuss with HSM Germany, make it sense to send it back to Germany, to our supplier in Germany, or can you make here a refer part, for example? Also possible, yeah. But on site, I would replace normally during the warranty case the whole unit, yeah. Hydraulic cylinder, and I will show you how it's possible to remove such a cylinder. Yesterday I told you how it's possible to detect unleaking, yeah, or unleak, yeah, and then you be sure that the cylinder is damaged inside, and the seal is damaged inside. We recommend it. Replace the complete cylinder. Don't try to replace only the seals, yeah, because I told you yesterday it's possible that not only the seals are damaged, but also the tube internal is damaged, yeah, and then you have a lot of work with a bad result. Okay. Press RAM, for example, also possibly the complete RAM is number 1 here, and here you see all the different parts which can be remove on the press rim. Yeah? Hand wheel. Our technicians have every time also a hand wheel in their car because they have a bigger car. You saw it on the video. They have the T5 by VW, for example. And they have, most of our technicians have such a hand wheel in their car. Because sometimes when you forgot to lubricate this, the threads, yeah, okay, then it can be that you damaged the hand wheel, yeah, and then you have to replace them, yeah. Okay, the bail injector, also possible to replace them, parts, the door. When you want to replace a door, it's also a situation, then you mostly need a crane because the door is very heavy. Yeah. Also this part here, the main switch for the door. Yeah. Okay. And here you find also positions for the, what's that? I hope it's okay. Okay. Yeah. For the 1160, yeah, a little bit different, not so colorful, but also, yeah. And when you need some special spare part lists, give me a call and then I will send it to you. Yeah, I'm not sure if you have access to the main database in Germany. No, Jeff. I think Jeff will have it. Jeff was 4 weeks in Germany, and also James, and I think they have some special channels for coming. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I have also some spare part recommendation here. For example, here I think this part is what Warren do. Few normal. So that's a normal list. I think it's more important for you. Yeah. We recommended that our guys have such a spare part list, and that's what we recommended when we have a customer very far from our next technician. Then we recommended that he should buy the spare parts and store them directly by the press. Yeah, and so he can avoid that the press stands still for a longer time. Yeah.
You run a risk of
yeah.
theft.
Yeah, mostly we do it by weekend presses, for example, because when a week press stands still for 1 day, the cost increase more than 10,000 euro, for example, for the customer. Yeah? So sometimes behind our press are a lot of different other machines, and then our press stands still. The other machines also couldn't work, for example. And then sometimes it's very helpful when they have the spare parts direct on site, yeah? Because our technician can be there very fast, but when we have to send spare parts from our main warehouse, then it takes time, yeah? And so we recommended, okay, when you want to have now lost by standing still for machines, then bring such spare parts in reverse on the machine. Sometimes you could replace themselves, the customer, or we are able to send you a technician internal 2-3 hours, for example. But we can be sure that our technician have the spare part in his car. So it's better when you have them on site. Huh? Okay.